Hello, and thank you for tuning to the pod of Born Star, Born Star, Born Star. Will you recognize you're a star? And don't forget that you are a star wherever you are. The world is going to tell you a bunch of things. Most of it is background noise and things you don't need to care about or really listen to. I mean, dude, Facebook is trying to call itself Meta after it's getting questioned and people are coming out with all these stories and porters are actually doing their job for once. And Mark Zuckerberg has this stupid video where he's trying to say he's trying to create a metaverse. Bro, you're just trying to get ads for 12-year-olds because the old people don't matter and you're trying to get younger people, but younger people don't like Facebook because Facebook is whack. Let's not lie, dude. The only people that are on Facebook don't have anything to do. I'm just going to say it. As someone that deactivated their Facebook, I'm living better without it. I like Instagram, but I don't even go on there that much either. And I have a lot of followers. I'm a brand ambassador. I do a lot of stuff on my Instagram. I podcast. I'm a one-woman show, basically. I'm on bandwagon. I got a lot of stuff going on. I'm a creator. I'm an inspiration. I try to be that. But I'm honestly going to tell you, Facebook is just sickening. You're sitting there scrolling, looking at a bunch of crap that doesn't actually matter. It's just on any of these things. How do you have time for that? People that are literally like that, I was looking at my Facebook stuff. Do you know that the people that are responsible for January 6th are from Facebook? Facebook. They have these chats and they try to get people involved in rooms and all this ridiculous stuff. That all stemming from Facebook. And Mark Zuckerberg is a liar. And I'm just tired of social media trying to act like they're not trying to use the fact that ads is what makes them money. Ads. When you go on their platforms, they oversend them to you. I don't miss it. I don't miss it at all. And honestly, I like my privacy. So past Facebook, I don't want people to know everything I'm doing. I don't want to feel the need that I have to go on Facebook and explain myself. I don't want to do that. I like enjoying my life. Don't you? Isn't that the entire point of it? To live your life? You're not living if you keep posting stuff. Granted, important things, having kids, buying houses, buying a new car, graduating from college. Okay, I get that. Anything outside of those things I just said, do you really want to post that? Maybe you're getting your first apartment or, you're moving, you're doing something like that, or you got your first career job and you're excited about it. Okay, I understand that. Anything outside of what I just said, why are you posting out on Facebook? Why are you telling people about your kids and all these things? That's where the bum mentality comes from. These people want to sit at home on their phones, on equipment they're not paying for all day posting stuff on Facebook. How you got time for that? How? I just figured I'd start this conversation off with that. That's going to lead me into the beginning of our conversation of know me aloud, know me aloud, know me aloud. Because they lie to us anyway. Do you think they figured out a way to pass this bill? What's Manchin and Cinema doing? Nothing. And they keep trying to do stuff. Biden's at some stupid summit where he's going to try to convince the world to do something about climate, but he really ain't even doing nothing here. So it's dude, really? What are you doing, moron? I keep asking that to myself every day, and I don't have an answer. I wish I did. I wish I could tell you what these morons are thinking. But then again, I'm assuming they're thinking these things because they're elderly and they have dementia or Alzheimer's and they don't actually know what's going on because they're old. As you get older, you start to forget stuff. It's called your brain is deteriorating. It's the opposite effect. That's what happens as you get older. It's very sad. It is. It's very sad to witness that. But that's what happens to old people. So I feel like it's probably not a good idea to give these people the ability to be judges till they die. Because, they're going to start to get older and they might not want to retire. Because, they might think they can push it till they're 110. Might not be a good idea. Might not be. Just saying there should be some term limits with this stuff. There should. And since we're talking about Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg and term limits and all the stuff that should happen in politics, Why aren't they blasting some heat on Facebook for all they do to corrupt the minds of teenagers and girls and women and to create a psycho base of lunatics? Like, there's people running around calling people names and just QAnon stuff that makes no sense. Just a bunch of people that want to belong to something that's not real because it feels good. Like, what is going on? And no one, and I mean no one, is going to call them out. And it's upsetting that we keep getting back to this. Like, Biden is an embarrassment. Let me tell you why Biden's an embarrassment. Does he even know what day it is? Like, do you, dude? Do you know what day it is? And I'm tired of listening to Pod Save America try to come up with excuses for the Democratic Party. I'm even tired of listening to progressive viewpoints where they try to say one thing and it's another because they feel like they want to create an environment where everybody can live. You people are working for a media company. You do know that, right? It's a media company. A media company. You're getting paid probably a decent amount of money to lie to people and tell them whatever you want them to hear. Basically, why is that?
Well,
why don't we have
they're Fox News for Democrats.
Why don't we have conversations about that? Why don't we have conversations about how Pod Save America is talking about what Biden can do, but Biden's not doing anything? Why don't we have conversations about how talking about raising taxes on corporations is ridiculous when corporations employ the people that need jobs? So who else is going to employ them? Who? How's that going to work? Like, how are you going to do this? Who's going to employ them? Like, really? Like, we're having this conversation? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, it literally doesn't make any sense. But, okay, it's just a Tuesday, and we're just having another conversation. And Skip's absolutely right. TYT is Fox News for progressives because they likely don't listen to anything else except for TYT, and they surround themselves in that environment. Now, I consider myself an independent. I don't like either side. I really hate the Democrats. I really cannot stand them. Not only do I...
They're all wrong equally.
Exactly, Skip. Tell them. I don't like either party. I think it's really sad that the Republicans have to use Christianity to try to prove a point about religion. I hate that crap.
Last I knew, God did not consider himself a conservative. You know how? Because nobody knows.
Ding. Preach, Skip. Preach. Like, Skip is correct. You know, like, they try to use religion like, would God do this? Are you really saying this to me right now, dude? How are you talking about God?
And don't forget, there's also a separation in church and state for a reason. So that shouldn't even be allowed.
If there's a separation between church and state, like he's saying, how did they get to talk this bumbling Clarney act? Like, it's just like, what are you talking about? When they do the thing when they're saying they're going to remove what kids are learning about in education, they're already not learning enough in education. Do you know how dumb these kids are? Like, dude, really? Like, they are not smart. I'm telling you. They can't spell. Like, these kids end up graduating high school and they can't talk. They don't understand how to say regular words.
Children can read at grade level. There was a time when school used to be about math, arithmetic, reading, and writing. Now it's about a bunch of special interest nonsense. And speaking as an adult, which you can attest to in the real world, all that other mumbo jumbo doesn't matter. All those verticals and special interests don't matter. You know what matters? Being able to read, write, and balance a checkbook.
Read, write, balance a checkbook, and add and subtract. They can't read. They can't say words. They can't spell. Like, come on, man. And then I hate when people will say, you don't understand. You're not a parent. I'm not a parent because when I'm a parent, my kids aren't going to these schools. They're going to schools where they are going to read, write, and learn. They're going to be prepared for reality and the real world.
Which is also a total falsehood because parenting is actually the easiest job in the world. What's the criteria? You have teen parents that are 14, 15, 16. They're not even eligible to be employed. But you're telling me that because they can do something, that makes something a hard job? Get the hell out of here. There's no qualifications to be a parent.
There aren't.
It's the most simple.
I'm already at 5 taxes now. We live in the East Coast. We're both paying 5 taxes, right? So now we're going to have to pay for you to get another free school for...
Those are just payroll taxes. That doesn't count other taxes. We still pay everyday taxes, like things like sales tax. What about property tax? I could keep on going, but the point is...
What about when you want to go to the Apple store and get something new? Or what about whenever you want to go to the grocery store? I went to Target last week, and the tax sucked.
Payroll
it always
taxes
does.
And income taxes are the tip of the spear. Parenting is the simplest, easiest job in the world. There's literally no criteria. And the fact that anybody would ever say different, they're very limited in mental scope. So be careful for those people that suggest differently. Simplest.
You mean like the morons that are saying that these people need to get unlimited tax breaks for their kids forever?
I don't know about that. That's not something that I can opine on.
That's what they had in this bill. It was supposed to last forever, but they limited it to a year. It went from forever to a year because Manchin wouldn't sign off on it.
I'm just letting you know what common sense dictates. Common sense dictates that somebody that is 14 or somebody that's 45 can be a parent. Technically beyond that too. But you look at those contours, you look at those brackets, you look in between there. What does a 14 and a 45-year-old have in common other than parenting could potentially be one of their jobs? Simplest thing in existence. And anybody suggesting differently, I don't know.
There was the tax credit. Do you think there should be another free preschool? Because I don't get that either. I mean, I don't understand why they're trying to add this in a bill. Like, I'm confused. Like, they have, like, Care for Kids. That's free. And they have this other one. Like, the free kindergarten one. That I can't remember the name of. And these are...
You don't remember it? Because it's useless, and it's pointless, and it's special interest bureaucracy.
And they keep wanting to create more of them. I don't understand. You already have ones now. How are you going to create more? How do they have room for this? So what happens to the ones that still exist? And you're creating something new. If you're creating something new, but it already exists and it's called something different, why are we spending money for something new if we already have it now?
It just speaks about the greater society today and how success is no longer viewed as something that can be seized. People used to go out, they used to bust their butt, they used to get educated, they would know the rules of engagement. Today, it's an excuse factory. It's a conveyor belt. So what about, oh no.
I had it rough for me. I didn't grow up in that town. I grew up in this town. This coincides with what I said yesterday at the beginning of the podcast. I was saying everybody has the same opportunity to do whatever they want. It doesn't have anything to do based off your skin tone or where you grew up.
Those are just convenient excuses, more excuse making. So don't be swindled by that. Reality is everybody has obstacles. That's the way life works. Life throws obstacles at you. And some people get up and dust themselves off. Other people want to be wards of the state and suck on the titty of the government.
Sucky suck.
And that's it.
Sucky, sucky, sucky.
And that's it.
I need my kid to be in Care for Kids. I can't get a job because I don't have anybody to watch my kids. How am I going to go to employment? Maybe you should have thought about that first.
But just remember,
what are we talking about?
Just remember, all freedom is not free when the government is involved. Nothing is free about the government.
Oh, they want their money back.
And that, what slowly becomes a safety net, becomes a hammock for laziness, becomes a spider web you get caught in. Easy, simple imagery.
It. And these chicks, I'm going to have kids so I can live off the state. That's why I got to give praise to young women and young men that aren't thinking about that. Young men and young women that are like, in their 20s, going into their 30s, not thinking about it. They're living their lives, they're working, they're traveling, they're paying things, they're trying to build and prosper, and that's not a part of what they're thinking about.
Well, everybody has their own path, but the problem is when people walk their own path and they make those decisions, then they're held accountable for them. There's no sympathy for poor decision making. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's called progressives, and they want us to pay for it. Did you see that stupid bill? Did you see? Did you read some of the crap in it? Like the crap. Like, do you know that they took out the stuff about the PTO days? I mean, I understood why they took that out. But what I was trying to say yesterday is if you work at an actual company, they offer you like a set amount of PTO every year that you have to take or it expires. Like at my job, it's like 2 or 3 weeks, and you have to take those hours or you can't bring it over to the next year.
To informed, educated, smart people that also are able to exercise common sense and pragmatism, Progressive is nothing but an auto insurance company. All that other stuff is just modern day, very, very, very distant from the center. Socialism, populism, communism, and it's a 2021 form of extremely left Nazism. So pay attention to those 4 things, whether it's Nazism, communism, socialism, populism. The precepts are directly, bullet point for bullet point, tenet for tenet, principle for principle, aligned with progressives.
I just don't think that the stuff they're talking about is going to work with who's listening. And I gotta tell you, who wants to live in a communist society? Like, the idea that it doesn't matter if I went to college, it doesn't matter if I did everything the way I see that I'm supposed to do it. I have to pay because you don't want to do things right?
Communism rewards mediocrity.
Are you kidding me?
It rewards laziness. It rewards lethargy.
I know people that work one job more than one job. They work multiple jobs. They are doing side things. They're making it work. They're living their lives, and they're paying their taxes and they're paying for things. And now they're in a different level. Now you want them to be compared to someone that's not doing anything? How's that fair?
Just remember.
How's that fair?
Just remember, this is the way the real world works. Maybe the government wants it to be different. There is no, and I'll repeat this point, there is no sympathy for adults and their poor decisions. There's none. There's no empathy. There's no sympathy. There's no get back in the batter's box, swing again.
You can do it again. It's okay if you've got 5 kids. We'll pay for them so you can go to work. What jobs are they going to? They don't have any education.
Just remember, poor decisions as an adult. Not only is there no sympathy from anyone.
This falls in line to what I was saying yesterday about the fact that some people, they have the notion that why they need education, okay? Yeah. You either need skills or you need the education. It's got to be one or the other or both together. It can't just be, I don't really want to do this. I want this and I want it handed to me. I want free housing, free food, free medical, and I want to have 5 kids, and I don't want to pay for it.
There is no sympathy, there is no safety net, and poor decisions as an adult. And as an adult, you hit 18. That's the line of delineation. 17 child, 18 adult.
It's like these bums outside with signs.
When you make poor decisions as an adult, and this is important to note, those poor decisions become bleach stains on your outfit of life, and they're not coming out. The bleach stains aren't coming out. They turn into a scarlet letter. So I'll let you get back to your thing, but very interesting topic.
Yeah. In other news, it's still $1.75 trillion. It's not $3.5 trillion. It's not forever for the stupid tax credit. It's a year, and it shouldn't even be a year. I don't even know why they're giving that a year, but okay. This isn't really helping anybody. They create these stupid bills and this legislation trying to tell us that they're trying to work for the middle class. They don't care about the middle class. They care about themselves and the people that own them. They're puppet masters because they're all owned. They don't stand on their own 2 feet and do anything. They utilize a microphone to lie to us. That's what I'm saying. And I definitely agree with Skip. He is correct about the progressive thoughts. Look what it's connected to, communism. Look at China. Do you want America to be China? Because what's going on there? There's no doubt America needs to fix itself, but to be like China, because that's a nightmare. Anyways, let's go into the next part of our conversation. Thank you for listening to No Media Allowed, No Media Allowed, No Media Allowed, because they lie to us anyway. Dude, all they do is lie. Next part of our conversation. When you have a day off, try doing nothing. You know, sometimes I get days off and I just want to lay in the bed all day and do nothing. Other times I get days off and I have errands to run. Sometimes it's difficult when things close at a certain time or you're trying to operate and do multiple things at once. I'm just saying that sometimes you need to rest. Even though you have things to do, try to do it on another day. Like, I get very irritated when I've got a day off and I tell somebody that and they still try to suck up my time. And I'm talking about like family members, right? Like I think family has the tendency to not take your time serious. Or maybe it's just my family. I don't know. Maybe it's yours too. Like, I have a very limited amount of time. And if I've got a day off, I don't want my time that day off to be wasted. Like Friday, like I was very busy and we were doing things and we were trying to do something and I had somebody try to interrupt my day and it really just irritated me. Like, I've got plans, like, and you're not part of that. Not trying to be rude. Like, I don't think people understand that. But the reason I'm talking about if you have a day off, try to do nothing is because you likely don't have a lot of days off and you should be enjoying it doing nothing. That's the point. Like, rest and enjoy yourself. That's what I'm saying. Like, instead of thinking you always have to do something and go, why don't you just rest and do nothing? What's wrong with doing nothing? Like, the idea that someone will say to you, it's your day off. You should try to do it now. Why? Why do you have to do something because it's your day off? Sometimes on days off, I just want to stay in the bed all day. Or maybe I want to go pick something up for lunch or order something and be lazy. Because when I'm not at home on my day off, I'm at work. And I'm working. And I'm likely tired. So a day off is like a way for me to rest. But typically when I have a day off, I have things planned. And it's actually not a day off. It's a day doing something else. So if you get multiple days off, try to use some of it to be lazy and then, use the rest of it to figure something else out. Anyways, next part of our conversation. There's nothing wrong with staying in. You don't always have to go out. Like, I know things are happening, like, especially the movies, going to eat, blah, blah, blah. But when you go out to eat, you got to pay a tip. And sometimes the tips are annoying. And then when you're going out, like, I don't know about you, but people are irritating. Just humanity is not that bright. And I think that as much as I like being out around people, especially after being trapped in a house for over a year with COVID, like, I can't wait to get outside and see people. Like, going to the movies and being surrounded by people and they're sitting right next to me and nobody cares about a mask, feeling like it's normal again, like 2019, normal again. I like that. I want to be surrounded by that. I don't want anybody to have masks on. I want people to be right next to me. I want to feel their arm on my arm. I want that more than anything. But I think in 2019 and even right now, I still thought people were stupid and they're annoying. And when you go places, they're going to say stupid things. Like the movie theater we like to go to, there's this annoying guy that works at the check-in line that likes to tell us about the movies when we're going to it. And Skip likes to make fun of him because sometimes he says the wrong name of the movie or whatever. But that's fun. But the point of this topic is that you don't always have to go out. Sometimes you can have a movie in. Sometimes you can put a pizza in the oven. Sometimes you can do things at home. It doesn't always have to be you're going out to do something. And it shouldn't be. And that's just it. So, that's it. guess staying in is okay, especially as it gets colder. Like, it's November now. Like, you're likely not going to want to be out and as active as you were in the summer. Granted, I'm still going to want to go to the movies and I'm still going to want to do things. I still want to play like miniature golf, and I still want to go bowling, and I still want to go to the movies whenever there's a good movie. I'm not just going to the movies, crappy movies. I want an actual good movie. Like, I'm definitely going to go see that new Matrix. Before that, I don't know if anything warrants me. Maybe that movie about like the superheroes. I can't remember the name of it, but that might be airing on Disney Plus. I don't know. Guess we'll find out. I don't know. Like, I like being active, but I also like staying home. I think for a long time I wanted to always be out and run away because I felt like I needed to escape. But honestly, I like my house. I like where we live. I'm granted I'm gonna like the next place we live better because it's gonna be bigger and we're gonna own it or whatever. So it's gonna be a different type of a vibe or a feel. But you gotta love your home. You gotta love your house. You gotta learn to love it. You gotta learn to stay at home with a blanket, pop some popcorn, or order a pizza. Be comfortable. You gotta make it a place you want to be. So I feel like there's nothing wrong with staying home. Like, you don't always have to go out. Like, you can just stay home and chill. Netflix and chilling is okay. What's wrong with that? I like Netflix and chilling. Do you like Netflix and chilling? You should try to. It's okay to try to like that. Next part of our conversation, reasons to let perfection go. Perfection is an illusion of reality. There is no perfection. Even the most perfect person, they have a flaw. You might not be able to see it. It might not be the size of their waist or the tint of their skin, but they have a flaw somewhere. Maybe they can't say a certain word correctly, or maybe they're not that smart. It's something. You might not know what it is right away, but who wants to be perfect? I feel like so much work goes into perfection. I like being imperfect. Like, the idea that you're trying to meet someone's like expectations to be perfect. I think as kids, we're driven to find some sort of perfection. And I think it's our parents' inability to recognize that we can become our own person. Like, I heard someone say something the other day that they made a decision based off what their father said to them, and they regretted it because their father was wrong. And it really made me feel like I felt like that before. And it really made me feel humble because it made me feel like I thought I was the only one feeling like sometimes parents like to smother you with their opinions, but they don't want to give you the ability to make your own decisions and live your life. And I think that's wrong. As an adult or a young adult growing up, at some point your parents have to let you go. They can't constantly control where you're going to go. Like, once you're getting married or you're having your own child, you're growing and you're moving forward. They can't keep trying to shove you back into a 12-year-old's position. And if you have parents that are acting like that, you got to tell them stop, man, because it's bad. It's bad. I think that coincides with the perfection thing. I think that some people feel like they have to be perfect, or they have to try to be some level of that because they're trying to make someone else happy. It doesn't have to be that you're trying to make your parents happy. You could be trying to make this dude you're going out with happy, or this chick you're going out with happy. You could be trying to make your manager or someone at church happy because you want to fit in because blah, 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 blah. It could be any of those things. It doesn't have to be one situation. It could be any situation. Perfection doesn't exist. You have to let the idea of that go. You know how many times I want things to be perfect, or I've tried to plan out things and I've wanted them to be perfect, and every time I try to have some sort of time frame or goal, or I want something to go a certain way, it backfires. So I just gave up on perfection. I'm just like, like, I'm imperfect. Like, my hair is not going to look beautiful every day. Like, things I want to do are not always going to go the way I want them to. I want them to go that way. That doesn't mean they are. But, I mean, that's that. I think that the issue with perfection stems from an area and a place we don't talk about. And we need to talk about that to get over it. You're never going to be perfect. And a parent trying to make you be their version of perfect is unfair. Or your parent telling you not to do something. like they didn't do it is unfair. You're going to grow up. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to live and you're going to learn. And you're supposed to do that. Why do you have to prove yourself to anybody? Why do you want to? I think when I was really younger, I always felt like so uneasy about everything. Like, why are we so stressed? Like, we're kids. Like, dude, why do you care about what Brandon thinks about you? Who cares about Keisha's cookies? Like, what are we talking about? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about? Like, and I think we get that idea. I don't know if we get that from school or our parents or the town we grow up in or the community or whatever, where it's this idea that you got to do this, you got to do that, and you got to follow the rules, and you got to blah, 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 blah. There are no rules for life. Nothing goes as predicted. You can't have any predictions for reality. That's not how it works. Things happen the wrong way all the time. Some good things happen, some bad things happen. Like Skip was saying earlier, you can't give out sympathy and empathy to people it doesn't belong to. That's not how this life works. When you make decisions and you become 18 years old, you can really get in trouble. Like the idea of perfection, trying to stress yourself out and think you have to be something for someone else, don't do it, man. Like I say all the time, where I'm constantly promoting you looking in your mirror, loving your reflection, love yourself, because no one else is going to. Typically, people are going to want something for something. You're going to find a small amount of people that are just going to be cool and like you for who you actually are, and everyone else is going to want something for that. Which is why I don't really have any friends. Which is why I don't really trust people. Which is why I'm kind of distant from family, which is why I've changed a lot, because no one can be trusted, and people always want to be the center of attention, and people always want to pretend like they're better than someone else, and you can't lie about it. They always forget someone by doing something, and I don't like that, and I don't have time for that. And I'm moving on with my life. I'm got bigger and better things coming, and I'm just moving forward, like Yang says. Maybe not with what he's doing with his political party thing, but I'm just moving forward. I'm not looking backward. I'm not going back. I'm not talking about what happened. I'm talking about what's going to happen. Perfection isn't helping me move forward, because I know I can't be perfect. And I'm okay with that. And you should be okay with that too. When you look in that mirror and you see yourself, regardless of the skin color, skin tone, the freckles or the not freckles, when you look into your mirror and you see yourself, I want you to see the beauty that I see. I want you to see that boy, that girl, that woman, that man that's been through all you've been through and has gotten through it. The person that can get up in the morning and go to work even though they're tired and they're sick and they just broke up with their boyfriend. Or the person that can get up in the morning and their best friend just died and go to work and pretend like everything's okay. You're not alone. You are beautiful. And perfection isn't perfect. It's just a word in a dictionary, and it doesn't actually have any meaning, because you know what's perfect? Jesus. And guess what? He's omnipresent, and he's beyond this world. We can't explain him. And you know who wants to ruin Jesus? Religion. That's just one example of how perfection doesn't work. He is perfect. He is the most perfect being that ever existed, and look how they treated him. And he was perfect. I mean, really? Dude, I could go on a tangent about that for like the rest of the year, but I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to focus on this conversation. But that's just one example of what I'm talking about. How do you think these models feel with these dresses on, doing all the stuff that they do, trying to look perfect? What's going to happen to them in 10 years, in 20 years, in 5 years? They're not eating. Their health is getting messed up. They're messing up their bodies. What's going to happen to them? They're going to deteriorate. They might even die. That's not perfection. That's not living, dude. You're stressing yourself out. You're getting anxiety, you're worrying, you're getting depressed, you're starting to think you don't matter as much as you do. That's not helping you. That's not helping your life get better. Dude, no. Perfection, it doesn't exist. It's an illusion of reality where society and social media want to tell you some bull junky junk that they made up, because they're not perfect either. Dude, Mark Zuckerberg sucks. Said it, and I mean it. He does. Rapscallion trying to lie to all these teenagers, telling them about everything they need to look like. Dude, Instagram is a Photoshop game, man. It is. And I do it all the time. I press the filter on the button and I take a picture and I like the picture and I get a lot of likes, whatever. It's fun. Like, do you think that I'm taking it seriously? No. It's fun for me. Like, stop trying to make an illusion reality. Perfection does not exist. There's only one God. I mean, granted, there's other people that believe in other things, or there's people that don't believe in anything, or like there's people that are, they don't believe in any religion, or there's people that are Christians, or there's people that believe in many gods, or believe in whatever you want to. I believe that there's one God. His name is Jesus, and he is omnipresent, and he is the only being in the entire universe that is perfect. Outside of him, there isn't anything else. That's me. I do believe that you can be perfectly imperfect. That's what I believe. But the idea that you want to try to change yourself to be what someone else wants, you can't do that. So don't try. Next part of our conversation, you can't be defeated. You can't be defeated if you don't try or if you fight. You know what I hate? And I don't know if you hate it too with me. The idea that people act like their lives matter so much more than anyone else's. Like, if I'm having a conversation, I'm pointing out the fact that I have a bachelor's degree and I have a master's degree and how hard I work to get it. Some people will say to me, I didn't have the opportunity to get that. When you were doing this, this was given to you. No one gave me anything. Do you think anybody walked with me in these classes or sat with me to do all the work that I did to get my education? No, they didn't. I did it all by myself. So when people act like that to me or make comments to me like that, it just implies that they don't understand. Like, being educated, going to school, getting a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, it's not an easy thing. You have to be dedicated and focused, like 100%. I had to sacrifice a lot to get my master's degree. Like, that was 2 years of my life, bro. Like two. But okay. Like, when people make these comments, right, and they say these things, you know what that shows? They don't understand. And that they haven't tried. So how can you say, I tried that, but I couldn't do it? That's not defeat. You didn't try. You basically attempted something and it didn't go the way you thought it was going to go and you just gave up. Giving up is not being defeated. That's giving in. Like, if you want to be successful and you want to conquer something and you want to achieve a goal and you want to buy a house or you want to get in the 1%, you're going to have to work really hard for that. No one's going to give you that. No one gives anybody anything. These people that are prospering, that are being successful, and that are making names for themselves, like people on Instagram, on any of these social media platforms, podcasters like myself and others that are getting listens and views, and people keep listening every week. And thank you to those that listen every week. I appreciate you and I love you wherever you are, whatever time it is. I appreciate that. It means something to them, to our followers, to our listeners. We mean something. And that's what makes us keep coming back and working hard to do this. Dude, I work a full-time job that is very stressful. And a lot goes into it every day. But I still make time to be a podcaster too. I still make time to be an influencer and a brand ambassador on Instagram and take pictures and excite people and be a part of something bigger than who I am. And I'm still going to continue to do that every day because I make a difference in this bitter, brassy world where everybody kind of wants everything to be gray. I want everything to be bright. I want everybody to be a star, and I want them to be who they actually are, stars. I don't like the idea that we all need to be the same. We're not all the same. We're all different. And that's beautiful. Differences, and some people know one thing better than others. I think that's beautiful. The fact that we learn differently, we can speak different languages, we have stories that coincide with other stories. That's magical. I think that's glorious. Where we can find laughter in each other and have a great time and tell stories of our past and vibe on each other and build off each other. I think that's what life is. You just want to be at a party where you get to laugh with your friends and eat some popcorn and enjoy your life. That's what life is. Life isn't stressful. Life isn't worrying. Life isn't thinking that you got to fit in. You're not trying to fit in. You already belong. Like, that's it. So, stop saying you're defeated. Stop saying you can't do things. Stop thinking that you're limited to something because someone before you didn't do something else. I don't believe in that. I fought my way out of everything. I am not like anyone else, and neither should you be. No one should be like anyone. Our paths may cross, but you don't know how I got to where I got to. And I don't know how you got to where you got to. We're all trying to survive together in a big world full of liars, deniers, and people that just want to swindle and do a hustling game to get money to take from others to give themselves. It's really cruel and brutal, and it's ugly. It's not pretty. It's really ugly. What things really are is really horrible, honestly. But if you want to be successful and you want to accomplish something and you want to do something really cool, you're going to have to work really hard. And like I said, defeat can't exist if you fight for success. Next part of our conversation. What are we watching today on this Tuesday? It's Tuesday. It is the 2nd of November, and there's a bunch of Christmas movies on that I don't want to look at right now. But what else is on? We can watch all those shows I told you about. Lock and Key. Probably gonna start that at some point. There's a bunch of movies on demand, and I definitely want to watch my other CW show. Dude, I only have a couple of episodes left of Sex Education, and let me just say this last episode's got me laughing. Jaquan at work told me that I need to watch this other show on Netflix that I really do want to watch, so me and him could talk about it together, because I love talking to him at work. He's the best. I'm doing my shout out for Jaquan on my podcast. Maybe one day he'll come and do the podcast with me, because I do like guests. Typically the only guest I have on the podcast is Skip, but maybe I could have Kwani on too. Jaquan can be on the podcast with me. I really want a place where we can have fun and talk about anything on here, and I really do think that's what this is. A place where we can discover and have lots of fun together. That's what I'm trying to create. Anyways, next part of the conversation. What happened to Storage Wars? Because I haven't seen it, and I don't know where it is. And I thought it came back on, but then it really didn't come back on, so I don't really know what's going on with it. I kind of want to see if they'll do new episodes with that, because what are people finding at storage lockers during COVID? Like, did anybody actually store anything good during COVID? Was there anything to store that was good during COVID? I kind of want to see. Also, we're Shipping Wars. Like, that's a good show, too. And there's the one where they have the crates. That one was a great show, and I can't remember the name of that one, but that one was really good. Where did that show go? I like that. I even like the Pawn King show. Some of the characters in the show are kind of irritating, and some of the stuff that they look at buying, some of the people that go in that pawn shop are like ridiculous, thinking they're going to get these crazy amounts of money for stuff that really doesn't have a lot of value like that. But those shows are pretty entertaining and interesting, and I'm always up for looking at marathons of them or catching up on the latest episodes. We got a couple of seasons to go to catch up, but sometimes when it comes on TV, we look at it. I don't know how far behind we are on the show, but we'll get caught up at some point. Those are great shows to watch. Hockey's on, so we'll be watching that every day. Skip doesn't want to watch basketball, and honestly, I don't know. They kind of turned me off. I don't know. I think it's not about basketball anymore, and I miss watching it because I like the Celtics, but like, I don't know, they like turned me off, like in a way where I don't know if I can look at it anymore. That's basically what I'm saying. I'm basically saying that I like hockey better than basketball. I don't want to watch anybody. Like I think I like the Brooklyn too. Brooklyn seems to be doing good with basketball. I have been sort of looking at football, but I don't know how the Cowboys are doing right now. I don't know. I was gonna tell you that ESPN Plus has all the hockey games on. So if you're looking for hockey because you love hockey like I do, you gotta get ESPN Plus. We talked about this before. That is a necessity. Um, I haven't seen anything new on Disney Plus yet. I was thinking that they were gonna come out with something new. Looks like that movie Immortals is coming out at some point soon, and that's definitely a movie I think I want to see. It looks pretty good, but we'll see what happens. Next part of the conversation, let's dive into some food. How do you keep up with creating meal plans every week and make it fun? I just look on Pinterest and try to get an idea, or I have an idea in my head, like if I go on Target or whatever, of what I want to make. Like this last week, I made like a shrimp um, parm, but I put crushed peppers in there and I put some mushrooms. So I like added some other stuff to it and I put like spinach in it. And I mixed it with some mozzarella and some what's the other part of it that I mixed with it? I mixed it with mozzarella and I mixed it with cream cheese. And it came out very good. I ate that for meal prep. Well, I'm eating it for meal prep, whatever. It's week 2. So I made it on, what day did I make that on? I made it before we left. Friday, I made it. Friday during the day. It was pretty good. And I started eating it on Tuesday. So, pretty good. Can't complain. How do you do it meal preps when you feel like, I don't know if I want to make this anymore? There's, like I said, so many options for food delivery that you could just pick one of them. I don't know if you want to do that. There's like so many options like with food delivery. But the problem I have with food delivery is I don't know if I want to pay for that weekly. Like it's like $95 a week. Like, and would that be cheaper than going to the grocery store every week? I don't know. It would save me time. There's that. But it wouldn't save me money because like I don't know if that's smart. Like so for me I have problems with like when it comes to food. Like it makes me feel like I don't know if this is smart. I don't know if I should do it. So I think for now I'm not going to do a food idea like that. I think I'm just going to stick to making it myself. If I can find one that's not like ridiculously priced, maybe I'll do it. Because I'm running on fumes at this point and I don't have any time for anything, but we'll see what happens. Next part of our conversation. Dude, is Bobby Flay really leaving Food Network? Because Skip told me about it and I don't know. Like, I don't know. I like that Bobby and Jada show and I guess we'll see what happens with Bobby Flay, but I'm hoping he doesn't leave Food Network. Not that I don't like Guy Fieri. Guy Fieri is really cool, but Bobby Flay's like different. So like they gotta have like a combination of different people. It can't just be all one person doing everything. I guess we'll see what happens. Anyways, that, my friends, is the end of the pod. Thank you for tuning in as always too. Born star, born star, born star. Where you recognize you're a star. Because you are a star wherever you are. Bye.